Welcome to the Aaron Harber Show. We are in Miami at the annual conference of the National Association of Television Program Executives, or NAFPE, hearing firsthand from key insiders how the television industry has changed over the past 2 decades. Diversity, technological advancements, and streaming's disruption of classic programming models are all on the table. So let's take a look with the founder of Entertainment Studios, Byron Allen.
With Byron Allen, who, one of the things that you are known for, of course, is as a great comedian. Now you're this media mogul. How did that happen? Tell me about this transformation.
I'm not even sure how it happened, to be honest with you, Aaron. You know what? I've always loved business. I've always called it business show, not show business. And I've always had an appetite to learn, an insatiable appetite to learn more and more about business. Since a kid, I loved Rockefeller, and I loved Henry Ford and Andrew Carnegie, and I couldn't learn enough about them in the Industrial Revolution and vertical integration. And 100 years ago, we had, the Industrial Revolution. Today, 100 years later, we have the digital revolution. And, the same principles that applied then apply now. How do you produce the content? And how do you vertically integrate it where you take it from a concept to production, to execution, to delivery to the consumer, and go straight to everybody worldwide on every device? That was something that was a part of my DNA since I was a kid, because I was always fascinated. I was born in Detroit, Michigan. And my daddy worked at Ford Motor Company for a little over 30 years, and my granddaddy worked at Great Lakes Steel a little over 30-something years. And these guys were the hardest working guys you'd ever know. They never called in a day sick. My granddaddy got to work an hour early every day, that taught himself how to read, and drank really bad coffee that he didn't know was really bad coffee, and ate out of a brown paper bag, and that was his lunch. And these guys loved what they did, and they showed up, and after work, after they punched out, they came home and worked some more and built cars in their driveway. So I got that work ethic from my daddy and my granddaddy, and I got that idea of, how to produce content in an assembly line type way. And I started producing content that way, and produced one show and another. Next thing you know, I have 41 shows, and I'm dealing directly with every television station in the country and all the major advertisers. And next thing you know, I have one of the largest privately held libraries in the world. Next thing you know, I start putting networks on, and next thing you know, we own 8 networks, including the Weather Channel. And it all started as a little kid watching this process and coming to this convention, and this is my 38th consecutive year of coming to NAFPE. It was January of '81, I was 19, and the first time I came was with my mother, and I met my second father, my mentor, Al Massini. And I met him upstairs. It was at the New York Hilton, and he was upstairs on the 40-something floor. And I walked into his suite, and he was pitching all these guys, and he had his back to me, and he was magical. And he was telling them, I've got this great idea for a TV show. And on my TV show, I have the biggest movie star in the world on my pilot, Burt Reynolds. Look at this interview with Burt Reynolds on the set of Smokey and the Bandit. He's the biggest movie star in the world, and this is going to be the biggest show in the world. And I'm going to tape it at 12:30 in the afternoon, and I'm going to put it on the bird, right, at 2 o'clock. Satellite. And they go, what's the bird? And he goes, it's a satellite, guys, and I'll tell you more about that technology. And he goes, I'm going to put it on the bird at 2, and you're going to run the show at 7. They go, what's the name of the show, Al? He said, Entertainment Tonight. I watched him sell that show in January of '81, and it went on the air September of '81. He changed the face of television, Al Massini, and he became like a second father. And he helped me learn the business. And I watched him sell Entertainment Tonight and Star Search and Lifestyles of Rich and Famous and Solid Gold and Runaway with the Rich and Famous. And I just developed a family and friends that was just one of the greatest gifts God could ever give me. These unbelievable people who were just so generous, whether it was Al Massini or Dick Robertson, who ran Warner Brothers, and he's going to introduce me to to receive the Brandon Tartikoff Legacy Award here in a couple of days. Michael and Roger King, who gave us Wheel of Fortune, Jeopardy, Oprah, and they gave us Inside Edition and Dr. Phil. I mean, these guys changed the face of television forever.
So you learned syndication from them as well.
I learned syndication directly from them. Every year I came and I hung out with them. I stalked them. I had breakfast with Dick the other day, Dick Robertson, and he said, I'll never forget when I saw you at NAFPE, you walked in and you said, hey, can I sit in on your sales meetings? He's like, no one's ever asked that before. And he goes, goes, you just sat in our sales meeting and you watched us sell our shows. And he goes, you were like a sponge, and you're 19 years old. And I just, you just have that appetite, and you have that fire in your belly, and you want to learn, and I love it. I haven't had a job since I quit my paper route. I used to throw the Herald Examiner, and I got half a penny a paper, and I had to throw 2 papers to make a penny. And then one day
I got a penny of papers.
You got a penny
in Chicago. So
Chicago?
I was doing better than you.
See, they always pay the white guy more. You see how that is? Hey, you see that they always pay. That's the comedy we don't.
I was the only white guy. I was the only white guy out of 100 kids.
That's it. You see, they always pay the white guy more. You see, but I'm not going to bring that up. Too soon. I'm sorry, Aaron. So anyway, so I had to work twice as hard as you, but that's okay. I'm not bitter about it. I'm just explaining to him. So
I'm a good negotiator.
You're good. Yeah, that's true. Hey, see, there you go. That's what it is. See, so I had to throw 2 papers to make a penny, and then one day a guy saw me, Wayne Klein. He saw me performing at the Comedy Store, and he said, "Those jokes were funny." I was 14 years old.
That's incredible.
The show was real people. But he said, those jokes are funny. And he said, who wrote those jokes? I said, I did. He says, I know a guy may be interested. I go, can I get your phone number? I go, give him my phone number. He calls me up and he says, guy says, can I speak to Byron? I go, speak it. He goes, my man, Wayne Klein, says you're funny. And if my man, Wayne Klein, says you're funny, then you're funny. And I go, who's this? He goes, this is Jimmy J.J. Walker. And this is 1974, 75.
Whoa.
He is hotter than the sun. He's on Good Times. And he says, why don't you come write some jokes with us?
How old were you?
I'm 14.
That's incredible.
Real People was the show. Yeah. You got to catch on. So then he goes, and I go, let me ask my mom, right? So my mom says, yeah, you can go write some jokes for him. I go to his apartment. I walk into his apartment, and sitting there is David Letterman, who had just driven out from Indianapolis in a red pickup truck. Jay Leno, who was sleeping in his car. Wayne Klein, Marty Nadler, who went on to write and produce Laverne and Shirley and Happy Days. And Jimmy Walker and these guys. And they're in their 20s, I'm 14, and we sit there and we learn the craft and the art of writing comedy and making people laugh.
That's amazing.
And that's amazing that was another amazing gift from God, that I'm sitting in, and I'm like with Jimmy Walker and David Letterman and Jay Leno, and Jay is getting $200 a week. Jimmy Walker's paying Jay Leno $200 a week. He's paying David Letterman $200 a week. And once again, I was upset. I said, look, Jay and Dave are getting $200 a week. Why don't you pay me $200 a week? And he said, no, he goes, I'm paying you more than Jay and Dave. I go, how are you paying me more than Jay and Dave?
Because you're learning.
He said, no, I wouldn't accept that pitch. I was a little smarter than that, Aaron.
You were only 14. I thought you'd buy
that. He's 14. Get him for free. So he gave me $25 for my first show. And I still have the check and framed in my office. And I quit my paper route because $25. I mean,
I'm still doing mine.
I had to throw 8,000 newspapers to make $25. And he says, I'm paying you more than Jay and Dave. They're only getting $200 a week. Byron, all you got to do is sell me 10 jokes, and you're making $250, and you're going to make Jay and Dave look like amateurs. I said, you got a deal. I never sold them 10 jokes in a week ever in my life. But so I think my best week was $50. But
he knew what he was doing.
He knew what he was doing. I was 14. He took it. Yeah, but I love Jay. They were it was one of the greatest experiences. I am so blessed, Aaron. I am so blessed. I'm just really fortunate to have learned what I wanted to do at a young age, and to do it with all the passion in the world. And I literally have never worked a day of my life since my paper route. And even when I had my paper route, I learned a lot about business. I don't think I've ever worked a day in my life. When
the
you really
Weather
think
Channel was, it was a historic opportunity. A buddy of mine came to me who satellites all of our networks. And we have 7 24-hour HD networks now. With the Weather Channel, we have 8. So I had read an article in the New York Times. Verizon wanted to spend $23 billion, bring fiber to the home, offer 150 HD channels. And so I went to Verizon and said, I want to offer you 10 channels. They said, how many do you have now? I said, 0. They said, what are you thinking? And I said, well, I'm originally from Detroit, Michigan, and my dad worked at Ford Motor Company for 30-something years. My granddaddy worked at Great Lakes Steel 30-something years, and these guys never called in sick a day in their life, and they couldn't wait to get to work. And I want to bring that Henry Ford, Detroit automotive sensibility and efficiency to making content. 100 years ago, it was the Industrial Revolution, and today it's the digital revolution. And what fueled the Industrial Revolution was oil and gas. Today it's being fueled by content. So I said I want to really be efficient like Rockefeller. Take it from the ground to the pipe, to the refineries, to the truck, to the gas station, to the gas tank, and make it efficient and affordable. And I really want to be a part of the digital revolution in a way through content. And we made history. One single day, we turned on 6 24-hour HD networks. Nobody ever knew it. We just quietly did it. Now, then we ended up turning on our 7th network, Justice Central. We ended up becoming the largest producer of court shows. And we took all these judges, Judge Ross, Judge Hatchett, Judge Maybelline, Judge Karen, Judge Christina Perez, and we said, okay, and now we have 7 networks. But it was not easy to get the distribution. So my friend who runs Encompass, which satellites the networks, he said, you should buy the Weather Channel. I used to work at the Weather Channel. People don't realize how important it is. It's a cash cow, makes hundreds of millions of dollars, great cash flow, EBITDA, blah, blah, blah. And he said, you should buy it. And we took a look at it and we said, you know what, we should buy it.
For information on how to help promote civil and mutually respectful discourse and support expansion of the distribution of our programs, please email info@harbortv.com.
Safely stop fires around your home. Introducing the Fire Ice XT 20-ounce aerosol canister. Fire Ice XT is an eco-friendly water-based fire suppressant gel. Unlike a traditional fire extinguisher, Fire Ice XT is a highly effective, non-toxic firefighting agent that is easy and safe to use around your home, family, and pets. Available at Amazon.com or call 800-924-4874.
I'm Aaron Harber, host of The Aaron Harber Show. Find us on Facebook to get all the latest updates, see behind-the-scene photos, and make comments and ask me questions. You can see episodes before their TV broadcast, so like the show today.
Join me and watch The Aaron Harber Show.
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 I'm Reverend Jesse Jackson. Watch The Aaron Harber Show and Keep Hope Alive.
I'm Aaron Harber, host of The Aaron Harber Show. You can follow the show on Twitter for instant notification of new episodes, live event invitations, outtakes, and behind-the-scene photos. And tweet us your topic and guest suggestions today. I'm Aaron Harber, host of The Aaron Harber Show. I very much would like to hear from you about the program, so please send me an email with your thoughts. You can suggest what topics I should cover, what guests I should invite to be on the show, or even what specific questions you would like me to ask. This is your program, so send your suggestions to aaron@harbortv.com. I promise to personally read every one, so email me today. And most of all, thanks for watching.
The Aaron Harber Show may be viewed 24/7 at no charge from any location in the world at harbortv.com.
I'd be really interested in your progression because, I mean, from being a comedian and being so successful and then working with other comedians, putting other comedians on the air.
Right.
That was such a great show that you had. And then,
we still have it, Comics Unleashed.
Right,
it's just
right.
past your bedtime.
Yeah,
okay, go ahead.
It's already past my bedtime.
And it's like 12 noon.
Yeah. So I'd be just really interested in that next progression in terms of getting involved in not just the creation of content, but the ownership of content.
Look, just to going back in terms of working with other comedians, I am a comedian. I'm a comedian first. And I love other comedians. And I love to help people. I love to see people succeed. Your success is my success. I always say that's on our logo of our company. Your success is our success. If you succeed, everybody rises, all boats rise, right? So I just wanted to give other comedians exposure, whether it's Comics Unleashed or a 24-hour comedy network, comedy.tv, Funny You Should Ask. I just want people to laugh, and I just want comedians to have big opportunities. So ownership came from me. Nobody would give me a job. No one would give me a job. So I had to learn how to give myself a job. That's the key. It's business show, not show business. And I wasn't going to wait for other people to hire me. I was going to figure out how to hire myself. You know, I'll never forget, my mother and I went to Palm Springs. I was a kid. And we were driving in a really nice neighborhood with all these beautiful homes. And there was this wall that just went on forever. And I'm like, wow, whose home is that? Like, this wall goes on forever. It's a beautiful, big estate. And she said, Walter Annenberg. Walter Annenberg. And he has his own golf course there because Walter Annenberg is Jewish. And they wouldn't let him into the country club. And he built his own. And as a kid, I never forgot that. When they don't let you in, you build your own.
And you built your own.
You built your own. And when she said that to me, I thought, wow, that's a shame they wouldn't let him in, but he's my new hero because he built something better.
So I'd be really interested in your take on industry and in terms of having to build your own, whether it be the kind of prejudice that you just talked about, and certainly when you look at how slow the industry has been to change in terms of diversification. How do we accelerate that? You
know, diversity, I mean, look, at the end of the day, diversity is great business. You know, put aside it's the right thing to do, but I can honestly tell you it's the best thing to do.
It's a moneymaker.
I've put out movies with no diversity, and the movies with diversity made a lot more money.
And that's established. In the industry, that's established.
And I'm not in the business of teaching you that.
Yeah.
I don't need you to know that. I will go do that. Henry Ford said it best, opportunities never lost, your competitors will always find it. I'm not going to waste a lot of time teaching you about diversity. I'm just going to do it and deposit the money. And eventually you'll figure it out. Yeah. You're kind of slow. You may not.
You're not the first to say, you're not the first to say that, by the way.
I like you. I like Aaron. I'm just having fun with him. But eventually, you know, I'm not going to explain. You're not going to explain anymore. You just do it. You know, you just do it. And I got to tell you something. You know, look, there are issues. You're always going to have racism. You just are. It's just going to be there as much as we all work to eradicate it. But you have to learn to make it work for you. And I've learned to make it work for me.
How?
The resistance has made me unstoppable. I needed the resistance to be who I am today. To be honest with you, my white counterparts, a number of them didn't get enough resistance. And when the waters got choppy, they sank because they didn't get enough resistance. It's like a guy going to the gym. If you bench press 30 pounds, your muscles are going to be okay. If you bench press 500 pounds, you're going to be the Incredible Hulk. You're going to be Superman. That resistance, that racism made me bench press more. My success is tied to the color of my skin because there was plenty of resistance to me because of the color of my skin. I have plenty of guys who work for me, and they go on the road and they do sales, and I'm drilled down. Why didn't you get the deal? Why didn't you get the time period? I can't tell you how many of my salespeople have said to me, and I said, you must be brutally honest as to why you didn't get the time period. You must tell me exactly what they said to you as to why you didn't get the time period. And I've had easily 3 of my salespeople say to me, I'm not going to do business with you as long as you work for that nigger. And they've said it to them, to their face. And I said, all right. I said, now we're getting somewhere. This is what I needed to know. This is what I needed to hear.
It's incredible.
And once again, the show's called Real People. Jump in there, Aaron.
Yeah.
So I said, now this is a defining moment. I know who I am. There is no walking away from me, but you're white. You can walk away. You have to decide if you walk away because it is going to be harder working for me than a white guy. This is the moment you must decide, do you stay and fight or do you cave? And without exception, they all stayed and fight, and they made better salesmen out of those guys because they said that to them. It was something I could never give them. I couldn't take their constitution to that level. That's just one example of that resistance making me unstoppable. So I needed both. I've seen guys have the red carpet rolled out for them. Get a little choppy, they trip and fall. But I've also had the resistance. I know that if I lost it all tomorrow, I could build it back bigger and better day after tomorrow.
You know, what's interesting though, your reaction, I think, isn't as common as it should be. I think a lot of people, when they face that resistance, they give up. It has such a negative impact on them. And it just, that kind of resistance affects each person differently.
Right.
And I think, I'm not saying you're unique, but I think you're rare, especially at the level you take it. You take that resistance and you reverse it and multiply it by 10 or 100. Not that many people can do that.
And put fuel in it and make it fuel. But everybody has their resistance, whether it's ageism or sexism or you're Hispanic or you're Asian or you're handicapped. Everybody's going to have that resistance.
Or stupid.
Yeah, you're just, brain donor. But you look at you. You donated your brain at some point to science and you made it. I'm impressed by you.
With what's left.
With what's left. So what I'm saying is that everybody has that resistance. But in there, God also gave you something special to go beyond it. And you got to know that and accept that. And you are a gift, and you're going to move through it. And that resistance is needed, because man, I'm telling you, the ones who don't get the resistance, woo, forget about it. It gets a little choppy, and they go down like a paper, like bam, like what happened to that guy? Not enough resistance.
New stamps that taste like sweet and sour pork are being issued in China. The only problem is, an hour after you lick them, you want to send another letter. The guy who poses for pictures as Chewbacca on Hollywood Boulevard was arrested for headbutting a tour guide. Insiders say it was a typical Wookiee mistake. A New York taxi cab driver returned a black bag carrying 31 diamond rings to a passenger who left them in his car. This marks the first time a New York taxi cab driver has ever picked up anything black. This is some fun news from Europe. Due to an inability to meet security requirements, Italians have to play soccer without any fans, or as we call it here in America, soccer. I love this. New technology is allowing people to turn the ashes of their dead pets into diamond rings. So it looks like a man's best friend is now a girl's best friend.
For information on how to help promote civil and mutually respectful discourse and support expansion of the distribution of our programs, please email info@harbertv.com.
The Rex Howell Broadcaster of the Year Award recognizes an individual who, through leadership, skill, and dedication, is advancing the broadcast industry in our state and our nation. Tonight, we honor Aaron Harber. Aaron has worked extensively in the media as a host, producer, political and economic commentator, and columnist. Today, the Aaron Harber Show is the focus of his media involvement. Aaron, it is a privilege to present you with the Rex Howell Broadcaster of the Year Award. Congratulations.
Just make journalism great again.
The Aaron Harber Show may be viewed 24/7 at no charge from any location in the world at www.harbertv.com.
So one of the things you've been to NAFPE.
This is my 38th consecutive year.
38 years.
January of '81 was my first one.
How has it changed?
Oh my God, great question. It is, Aaron, it has changed dramatically. When I first came, it was at the New York Hilton. That was my first one. And we waited 45 minutes to go up the elevator to see everybody. And then it got even bigger after that. And then it got into the 80s. And literally, I think we had 15, 20,000 people come into this thing.
Right.
And then the market, when I first came here, you could only own 7 TV stations. 7. Now you have some guys that own 200 TV stations.
Right.
So the market clearly has consolidated. Major consolidation. So you don't have as many people here. You have 1 or 2 people programming, 200. It's just smaller. Companies gobbled up other companies. So there's that consolidation. What we have done we have to correct is we've taken away that independent spirit and we've homogenized this industry. And we have to bring back that independent spirit. If you look at the biggest shows that we've put on television, it was from my second father, Al Massini, Entertainment Tonight. He was an independent. He put that on, and here we are 40 years later, and we're still living with his idea from 1981. It was, God bless his soul, Michael and Roger King, God bless their souls, giving us Wheel of Fortune and Jeopardy. They gave us the inside, it's still on, right? It was Dick Robertson when he was an independent at Telepictures. Then he got bought by Warner Brothers. But as an independent, he gave us a show called People's Court. It's that independent spirit. That's the spirit that runs through the wall. These corporate guys, this temporary hired help, they run up to the wall. They don't hurt themselves. You need independence like us. We run through the wall on fire and then get up and do it again. That's what makes this industry so special. And just a few examples of look at what they did and how their work still stands 40 years later. Then you get these guys that get hired by the studios and they act like they know what they're doing. They don't know what they're doing. And 95% of their shows get canceled. No. There's a reason why I have 41 shows on the air. I'm an independent. Every day I run through the wall. And all my competitors, no. Not all of them. Some of them do. Some of them, not all of them.
What do you think the landscape's going to look like in 10 years?
Streaming is aggressively coming at a rapid pace. Streaming's everything. It's now making up 20% of the viewership. Streaming. Wow, think about that. Taking us back to, like, the biggest thing we have at our company, Local Now. Local Now is the biggest thing we have. We have the technology to bring you local news, weather, sports, and traffic via the web, streaming. No one has that. And now you're going to start to see us marry content with streaming now. So it's going to be the way you and I grew up. When you and I grew up, we watched a local television station, and it gave us local news, weather, sports, and traffic, and then it gave us premium content. Then we went and we watched Gunsmoke and Beverly. I know how old you are. And the Beverly Hillbillies. I know what shows you were watching. Batman, Bonanza. That's what Local Now is. We've taken localization, local news, weather, sports, traffic. No one's ever done that. No one's ever done that. Did I mention no one's ever done that? And we are marrying that with premium content. And it's free. AVOD. We're not charging a nickel. It's free. AVOD. Advertising video on demand. AVOD. It's free. Local Now is an unstoppable force in nature. That's the biggest thing we have, and that's at our company, Local Now. You download it in 30 seconds, and now you have local news, weather, sports, traffic, and then you're going to have movies and TV shows, everything. That's it.
With all ad revenue driving.
Ad revenue, free. We got to get away from paying all this crazy money. It's a lot of money going out there. We can entertain you. You don't need to pay a bunch of money. At least, look, it's big enough. It's a big enough pie where there are millions and millions of people who will say, I'm going to pay 10, 15, 20, 30 bucks a month for this. But then again, I need my Local Now. It gives me localization and gives me content for free. Local Now. That's the hottest thing we have going. Let me tell you something. Local Now is so hot, even the sun is going to say, man, can I get some air conditioning?
That's the Byron Allen I know. Hey, man, thank you so much.
Thank you.
That was great.
You got it.
Touch, okay?
You got it.
All right,
See, he always got paid more than me. He got a penny of paper. I only got half a penny.
Please contact us. We want to hear from you. And thanks for watching.